Alright, so our cupcake god has decided to one day, just randomly when waking up, to film himself inside of a closet and record an apology video. And that's exactly what we're going to be taking a look at today, because he ended up making one 10 days ago. Now, I wasn't aware of this, mainly because when I found EDP's new channel, I just kind of reacted to it, made a video about it, and then just didn't care at all about what else had happened to his channel. But he actually rebranded his channel and changed the name to The Infamous EDP, and he's at 16.9 thousand subscribers now. Like, guys, he's almost at 20k and he's somehow still up on YouTube. You know, I didn't think he'd actually make it this far. I figured maybe his channel would get banned within like 2-3 days of uploading, but no, it turns out his channel is still up. And yeah, it's been up for a month now of him just posting videos on a consistent basis, not really daily, but just, you know, here every now and there. And the video we're going to be taking a look at is this one right here, titled Mistakes Were Made, and it was from 10 days ago. Like I said, I didn't know he dropped this video, so yeah, I wonder what mistakes were made in terms of EDP's words. Yeah, anyways, we're going to check it out. Make sure to subscribe and like for some more epic apology content, and yeah, let's just get right into it.
People are going to paint their narrative on you based on what they want to believe, especially when it comes to the internet and social media.
Alright, so already a few seconds in and I don't like his intro. I feel like this video is just going to be him blaming it on other people instead of trying to address it himself or make an actual apology. Because let's be honest, he made apologies in the past, and we got one where he was saying that that whole situation, the cupcake incident, was just a skit or an audition for a movie role. We got him saying that it was nothing, we should just let it go.
Especially the one where he faked emails to try and confirm that all of this was actually just an acting moment. It was all just a ruse. It was supposed to be a movie, not real. It's all fake. Or the other statement he made about how it never happened in the first place and just outright denying it.
So I wonder how different this one's gonna be if he opens up by saying people are gonna paint a false narrative of you, especially when you're on the internet. And also, I'm questioning as to why he records his videos in a closet. Now, I didn't watch EDP back before the cupcake incident when people actually liked EDP for who he was, but like, I'm questioning as to why he's recording this in a closet instead of like in a setup or something like that. I mean, I guess this is his way of standing out or something like that, but I'm always questioning as to why he's inside of a closet with a bunch of Eagles jerseys hanging up on his rack. Like the last video I made about him, there was a video where he was recording it inside of his closet, so he's recording in his closet once again. And it actually turns out that he does this quite a few times. I mean, so far I can only count, wait, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times he's recorded videos in his closet out of his 14 videos.
One thing I want you guys to understand is that when you're dealing with trolls, when you're dealing with people on the internet who can just leave a comment and just run off to the scurries of their own, you know, hiding spots, is that there's no reconciling with these motherfuckers. There's no getting through to them. There's no, you know, trying to get these people to understand where you were at that point in time in your life, you know, addressing what happened a few years ago, the whole incident and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop you right there. What is there to understand about the whole cupcake incident? I mean, it's pretty obvious that you were there to meet up a 13-year-old, and you even said it yourself, kind of as if you were joking around, right? You weren't taking the situation serious, but yet you were still admitting that you were there to meet up a 13-year-old for cupcakes. And while you'll also have the guy who caught you reading you the chat logs and all the explicit images you sent to that what he thought was a 13-year-old girl, and he still went on joking about it. And then he brings up this people don't understand where you're at the time. I'm assuming he's referring to being in a dark place, like not being right mentally or having issues on the side that he wasn't able to bring to the light. And this was kind of what I was expecting from the intro of this video, where he was just saying people are going to paint a false narrative on you. And now he's saying that we don't understand what happened in that situation and where he was. It doesn't make any sense. What is there to understand about it? Like, if I get caught kicking a dog, how are people supposed to understand that I was in a dark place at the time?
I'll be the first person to tell you, I was in a very dark place in my life, very dark place. You know, had the fame, had the money, you know, had the status, you know. I thought that I couldn't be touched. And paid the price for it, you know?
Okay, so let me get this straight. He had all the fame, the status, and the money, but yet he still decided to talk to minors. This is what I meant in my last video. I said that EDP had all of this, right? All the fame, the money, the status, and whatever, right? And with all of that, he probably could have dated someone who was his age and attractive, because I'm pretty sure this guy had some girls who were attractive, rizzing him up and trying to get his number and trying to go out with him and whatnot. But yet this guy decided his best option was a 13-year-old girl. So how does attempting to hook up with a 13-year-old girl equate to being in a dark place at the time? Like, you see what I mean? It just makes no sense. Like, this whole narrative is just unbelievable.
Now, one thing I want you guys to understand another thing I want you guys to understand, and of course, there's going to be those motherfuckers out there, oh, EDP, just because you were in a dark place, that doesn't justify what you did.
Yeah, because it doesn't. Because like I said, if I was caught kicking a dog or something like that, and I was to blame it on being in a dark place at the time and not having the right mindset, how do you think people are going to react to it? They're not going to believe it. They saw me kick a dog, and especially if I'm going to make like an apology video 3 years after the whole incident, then they're not going to believe it because it took me so long to make a video. And especially when you've made apologies or lies in the past, or attempted apologies in the past of you saying that this was just a skit for a movie audition, then essentially everyone's lost all trust in you, which I'm pretty sure they lost all their trust in you when you were exposed as a cupcake man wanting to get some of those good old cupcakes.
First off, don't try to put words up in my mouth. We're not here for that shit. I'm here to explain to you where I was at in my headspace a few years ago. You know what I mean?
All right, let's see. Let's see you explain what your headspace was at the moment. Also, notice how he says, "Don't put words in my mouth," as if he's not trying to do that to us. Like he's not trying to put words into our mouth by saying that he's innocent or that we're in the wrong because we thought that EDP is a creep for trying to meet up an underage girl. But I mean, hey, we don't know yet. Okay, we don't know if he's gonna excuse himself for this behavior and whatnot. So I mean, let's just continue on because I really want to hear what EDP's reasoning is behind this whole situation that mistakes were made on that day.
The only thing that you can do as a human being when you make a mistake to this magnitude is to take responsibility for your actions, take accountability for your actions, understand that there is an issue, right? Understand that this is not normal. You know what I mean? To have these type of behaviors, they're not normal, right? Get the necessary help, whether it's talking to a psychiatrist, talking to a therapist. It can even be as simple as sitting down and talking to your family members. And overall, just trying to make sure that the same mistake doesn't happen again.
Okay, so why didn't you do all those things in the beginning? I mean, I'm pretty sure the guy who caught him, the ones who were behind this whole operation of the cupcake incident, I'm pretty sure they were there to like talk to him into getting him help by, contacting the authorities and making sure that, he's nowhere in society and making sure he gets the help he needs, which, I wonder how that went. And then he started begging that, no, don't take me to jail. Jail's bad. I don't want bad things to happen to me. I'll definitely get help. But yet, a few years later, Gideon and Skeeter Jean ended up exposing him for, once again, him trying to meet up with another minor. So how can you say with a straight face that when you're in a situation where you messed up badly like this, that you have to take responsibility and accountability for all of your actions when you didn't even do the same thing as you said? Aside from the cupcake achievement, this guy's been awarded the hypocrite achievement.
Now, a lot of people, they like to assume, right? Just because I haven't came out and made some big ass crying video, you know what I mean? Making a ass about myself, all hysterical on camera and shit like that, that I show no remorse. That couldn't be any more further from the truth.
Actually, yes, it can be, because you made apologies that are far worse than those of YouTubers just sitting down and crying at the camera for 10 hours straight, trying to reason with the audience and playing the ukulele or whatever. Yeah, to be honest, the ukulele apology is more pathetic than this one, but this one is probably A tier when it comes to pathetic apologies. Because, yeah, there's no beating the S tier apology, which is the ukulele apology. Yeah, there's no beating that whatsoever. And let's just say if, hypothetically, it was further from the truth. Why didn't he just make an apology a day or two after when he got exposed for the first incident, right? Because I figured, if you make a huge oopsie like that where your career's at stake, where your career has been nuked, that you would end up making a response or an apology addressing the situation. But no, you decided to wait a few years after to give a formal response to it. Because I can tell you right now, the other apologies he's made they're not even like this one, okay? This one is him finally addressing all of it, finally, admitting to it and everything like that. Well, I don't know if I'd say admitting to it because he's kind of just blaming it on his mental health, which is just a pathetic move to do, like blaming your mental health on something you did 3 years ago, and it took you 3 years ago to make an apology video blaming it on your mental health. Like that's, you see, that just, it can't get any more pathetic than that.
You know what I mean? What I want you guys to realize is the fact that I have sat down and I have apologized to my family, right?
Let me guess, was it because it was an audition for a movie, or was it because you were just simply in a dark place at the time? I really wonder what it could be.
I've apologized to my diehard friends. And when I say diehard friends, I mean my friends who I openly admit I forgot about.
Yeah, I'm sure they forgot about him as well after he got exposed.
Because I was surrounded by so many clout chasing motherfucking people who only really cared about me based on my internet and social media status. You feel me? I'm not going to mention their name. I'm not going to put them out there like that. You guys know exactly who you are.
You know, this right here reminds me of that one guy from Hell's Kitchen who, when Gordon was asking, list the contestant that you want eliminated, and the guy just responds with, he can do it himself, he knows who he is, and then starts to get all aggressive with Gordon Ramsay and tries to, you know, start a fight with him or start, you know, being the man and whatever, trying to be tough with him.
Who's the first nominee for the men? They can speak for themselves, but they know who they are.
Yeah, this is what that reminds me of, because what he's saying is that he's apologized to his family and his friends simply because he was surrounded by people who were simply clout chasing and using him for who he was. Like, you see what I mean? He's taking the blame on other people and not actually addressing the situation that went down. He's not talking about the text, right? He's not talking about that whatsoever. He's not talking about, you know, attempting to meet up with the 13-year-old girl for a cupcake. He's not explaining any of that. He's just talking and yapping about apologizing to his family and friends because he was surrounded by the wrong group of people and whatever, right? Like, at least with Chris Tyson, he just straight up admitted to it. Like, he said that that's what he did in the past and just straight up admitted it and, you know, talked about it without, I mean, he really didn't apologize for it. He kind of just addressed it and said that, yes, it was me, I messed up, whatnot, right? Well, as EDP here is just blaming it on other people, saying that we're pinning a false narrative on him. Like, bro, you got caught in not even in 4K, he got caught in 8K, in 16K, in 64K. He got caught in all the Ks possible.
Now, as far as those hitting me up on Instagram, you know, I'm gonna show you guys some bullshit. I'm gonna tell y'all some bullshit. So there are literally 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, you know what I mean, DMing me, hitting me up on Instagram, and they'll fucking type this message and they'll be all like, oh my God, are you the real EDP? And the moment I respond with, yes, I am, what they'll do, right? And they think that they're fucking sneaky about this shit, right? Malicious intent.
Okay, so he just completely changed the subject of this video. He's not even addressing anything about the situation. Like I said, he's just blaming it on other people. And in this part, he says that he has little kids DMing him talking about, are you the real EDP? And he's like, yes, they are. And then them taking it the wrong way or whatever, right? When he's doing it to us, he's talking about, you know, stuff that we don't know has happened. Whereas he should be talking about stuff that we're aware of that has happened where he has done his big ol' oopsie. And yet he just continues to change the subject and try to paint himself as the victim. Like, buddy, no matter how many bullshit stories you tell us, you're never gonna be a victim. The whole narrative is not gonna change in your favor simply because you're giving out these stories of other people randomly messaging you and saying that they're a minor. Like, that's not the way it works. But yeah, he does this for a few minutes and then he actually talks about Skeeter Jean and Gideon, and yeah, this is what he had to say.
And she goes, oh my God, are you the real EDP? I respond back with, how old are you? And who the f sent you? Right? Because I know well, Skeeter John, Gideon, and all these fake ass wannabe Chris Hansen impersonating motherfuckers. More than likely they sent you. You know what I mean? But they're no life ass, right? Bitch, how old are you and who sent you? Oh, I'm 14. Screenshot.
Yeah, I completely doubt that, because the reason why Skeeter Jean and all these predator poachers are doing this, DMing people who are most likely predators, the reason they do that is to set up a decoy to try and expose these guys, because if they were to use an actual 13-year-old, yeah, that wouldn't end in a good way. But I just love that EDP is like genuinely pissed about this, because I'm pretty sure he was expecting a real 13-year-old, and once he found out that it wasn't, he got pretty upset. I can imagine, you know, he threw a few of his Eagle jerseys around his room, maybe punched a hole in his wall and, you know, started screaming, maybe crying. But once he finds out that it's an actual 13-year-old, then he gets all happy, starts wiggling his toes, starts jumping in the air, maybe has a few donuts or a few cupcakes in this case. And, you know, just maybe there might be a chance when he's hovering his hands over that cupcake that he just wiggles his fingers around like Homer Simpson grabbing a donut. But anyways, that's where the video ends, really, I would say, because the rest of the video is just him yapping about absolutely nothing and him saying that he was in a wrong mental state when he already addressed that in the beginning. But yet he's to stretch the video out because he knows that people aren't going to stay for long. As soon as it was like 3 minutes into the video, I didn't want to keep going, but I mean, hey, I gotta make a video on it because I need content. But EDP here has yeah, he's kind of pulled a new tactic where he just yaps for 5 minutes more about absolutely nothing, not even talking about the first incident. Now, my first video that I made on EDP, which was about 3 weeks ago, I got a lot of comments saying that he's on his redemption arc and that he's trying to be forgiven. There's absolutely no forgiving EDP for what he did. I find it completely pathetic that people would actually think that EDP has a second chance or that we should give EDP a second chance, because no one who's a PDF file deserves a second chance. Now, it might just be me, it might just be my opinion, but I mean, that just seems more reasonable. EDP got caught not once, but twice, or maybe even a third time. I don't know. I've lost count at this point, but he's been exposed as a complete weirdo and a creep.
A couple questions for you. I want to know what this picture is of you with the makeup on. Do you recall this picture, Bryant?
And I don't think he deserves a second chance in redeeming himself or, you know, being a part of a normal society. I genuinely believe that he should be inside of a jail cell because there's no explaining what he did. Even if he wants to make a 20-minute video talking about the situation, there's no apologizing for it. He got caught in 4K and there's absolutely nothing that can be done to reverse it at all, aside from going to prison for life or getting the death penalty. Now, I know there's going to be at least one comment talking about, well, EDP didn't do anything to the 13-year-old. Keep in mind that this was a decoy, okay? And if it was an actual 13-year-old, God knows what EDP would have done. He could have harmed her. He could have done something sexual to her. I mean, that was his intent, right? To meet up with her sexually because he was sending all of these pictures of his dookie and him in bed. And there's that infamous picture of him smiling, saying, do I look good? Or whatever it's called, whatever the caption read. So if it was an actual 13-year-old, what do you think would have happened? So just because EDP didn't actually meet the 13-year-old doesn't justify him deserving a second chance or him redeeming himself. Because like I said, he doesn't address the situation. He doesn't really apologize directly to it. He's kind of just talking about this all indirectly and bringing up other situations of him getting texts from underage fans or minors saying that, are you the real EDP? And then them painting a false narrative on him or whatever the fuck it was. So yeah, it's gonna be it for today. And yeah, nothing really crazy aside from EDP's horrible apology. That's definitely A tier and the worst apologies of all time. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
I'm not going to cry my heart out and get on my hands and knees and grovel and beg for your forgiveness. Why? Because you guys, like I mentioned before, you guys already painted a narrative on me. You guys think that I'm this terrible monster. So what's the point? Skeeter John, Gideon, get him! You see what the fuck you're doing?